Some people call Phu Quoc a dream island. White beaches, blue water, luxury resorts. Others say it's a tourist trap that leaves visitors frustrated and disappointed. So which one is true? What surprised me wasn't the prices. It wasn't the crowds. It was how confused I felt when I left. At first, I honestly thought the complaints online were exaggerated. Every popular place has haters, right? But after spending time here, I started noticing a pattern. Not anger, not outrage, just a strange feeling that something didn't add up. This isn't a hit piece on Phu Quoc, it's not a travel ad either. This is a documentaire de voyage about expectations versus reality, and how a place can feel disappointing even when nothing illegal, aggressive, or obvious actually happens. And the real reason people feel cheated here has almost nothing to do with scams. It starts the moment you arrive, and it's subtle. Nothing felt wrong, but nothing felt right. Phu Quoc doesn't greet you with chaos. There's no shouting, no arguing, no obvious tension. The airport is busy, yes, but it feels calm on the surface. Still, almost immediately, something feels a little off. Transportation is where most people notice it first. Ride requests take longer than expected. Short trips get ignored. Some drivers hesitate, others cancel, and a few suggest alternatives that weren't part of your plan. No one is rude, no one is aggressive. Everyone smiles. And yet, you feel uncertain. This isn't about blame. Phu Quoc is an island, and islands work differently. Costs are higher. Fuel, maintenance, time, everything adds up. Add a tourism rebound after quiet years, and the system isn't exactly smooth yet. But psychologically, this moment matters. This is where many travelers make their first small compromise. You say yes to a slightly different route. Yes to a quick stop. Yes to just 5 minutes. Not because you're forced to, but because it feels easier than pushing back. Nothing bad happens right away. But that first small yes changes the tone of the trip. And that small yes often leads to something bigger. That's when the suggestions start. After that first compromise, the redirection usually feels harmless. A driver mentions a quick stop, a pearl farm, a local specialty place. It's framed as helpful advice, almost like a favor. You can look around, they say, no pressure. And to be fair, pearl farming in Phu Quoc is real. The island has a long history with it. Not every pearl farm is fake, and not every stop is a scam. That's important to say. The problem isn't the place, it's the pressure. Once you step inside, time suddenly isn't yours anymore. Staff stay close. Conversations guide you toward displays. Prices feel higher than expected, but you're already there, and leaving feels awkward. You start wondering if you're being rude by saying no. Behind the scenes, many of these stops exist because of commission-based routing. Drivers earn extra for bringing tourists in, so the trip quietly shifts from your destination to their opportunity. For Americans, it's like asking for a ride to your hotel and being taken to a souvenir store first. Not because you asked, but because it benefits someone else. Nothing terrible happens. You're not yelled at. You're not threatened. But the trip starts to feel less like yours. And once that feeling sets in, pricing hits differently. Sooner or later, prices become impossible to ignore. Food, drinks, simple services, everything just feels more expensive than you'd expect. Not just compared to other parts of Vietnam, but compared to the image people had in their heads before arriving. Here's the important distinction. Most of these prices aren't illegal. They're not hidden. No one is forcing you to pay, and that's exactly why the frustration is, well, kind of hard to explain. The real issue is inconsistency. One place charges a reasonable amount, the next charges double or triple for something similar. Menus don't always list prices. Costs change depending on who's asking. And suddenly, every decision feels risky. People aren't shocked by high prices. They're shocked by surprise prices. When you don't know what something costs until after you order, trust starts to fade. You stop relaxing. You stop exploring. You start calculating instead of enjoying. That's when excitement quietly turns into caution. It's not outrage. It's not anger. It's disappointment. The feeling that you have to stay on guard in a place that was supposed to feel easy. Many travelers tell themselves it's temporary, that the next stop will be better, that the atmosphere will change. Many travelers hope the night market will fix that feeling. For many travelers, the night market feels like the reset button. This is where it's supposed to come together. Colorful lights, local food, affordable prices, a place to finally experience the real Phu Quoc. That's the expectation. The reality for many feels different. The market is busy but heavily tourist-focused. Vendors call out constantly. Prices aren't always listed. Seafood looks great, but costs far more than expected. And instead of feeling relaxed, you feel rushed to decide. To be clear, good food does exist here. There are fair prices, there are honest vendors, but finding them takes effort, patience, and sometimes, even a little luck. It's not effortless, and that's what catches people off guard. It doesn't feel fake, it just doesn't feel authentic. By this point, many travelers are tired of thinking, calculating, and second-guessing every purchase. The excitement they arrived with is gone, replaced by caution. This is where many people quietly give up. They stop searching for hidden gems. They stop expecting surprises. They stick to safe options and count the days. But what really makes people question everything comes next. Then you arrive at the mega projects, the kind built to impress. Wide streets, grand entrances, perfect angles for photos. Everything looks carefully designed, almost cinematic. And yet, it's quiet. The buildings are beautiful. The scale is massive. Resorts, entertainment complexes, themed streets, all laid out like a destination meant for thousands. But as you walk through, you notice how few people are actually there. No crowds, no energy, just space. That contrast is unsettling. It makes you ask an uncomfortable question. Was this built for tourists, or for an idea of tourists? Context matters here. Phu Quoc developed fast, very fast. Huge investments poured in, betting on future demand. Then timing got complicated. Global travel slowed, visitor patterns changed. Some places opened before the crowds ever arrived. On paper, it makes sense. In real life, it feels strange. You start wondering if you missed something, if you came at the wrong time, if everyone else knows a secret you don't. This is where excitement turns into doubt. Not because anything is wrong, but because nothing feels alive. At this point, many people think, maybe it's just me. That thought doesn't last long, because eventually, curiosity takes over. You start searching online, travel forums, comment sections, reviews from people who were here just weeks ago, and that's when a pattern appears. According to posts and traveler reviews, the same complaints come up again and again. Overpricing, inconsistent service, experiences that didn't match what was promised online. Not rage, not dramatic stories, just disappointment, repeated in different words by different people. Some posts even talk about boycotting the island, not out of anger, but out of frustration. A feeling that expectations were set one way, and reality delivered something else entirely. Reading through these comments is validating in a strange way. You realize it wasn't just your imagination. Other travelers noticed the same things, felt the same hesitation, left with the same unanswered questions. But it also raises the stakes. Because if so many people are walking away with this feeling, then the problem isn't a single bad meal or one awkward interaction. It's something deeper. That's when confusion turns into frustration. And then something unexpected happened. Same story, different people. And then, away from the crowds and commercial stops, the island changes. You find yourself in quiet places, a temple overlooking the ocean, the sound of wind instead of music. No one trying to sell you anything, just space and time and calm. The view feels real, not staged. The kind of beauty that doesn't need explaining. You notice local workers going about their day, building, fixing, preparing. No rush, no performance, just life happening at its own pace. The contrast is striking. This feels nothing like the frustration from earlier. No pressure, no confusion, no sense of being managed or redirected. For the first time, everything feels honest. This didn't feel like a tourist trap at all, and that's when a quiet realization begins to form. The island itself isn't broken. The people aren't the problem. The beauty is still here, untouched in many places. Something else is creating the disconnect, something between what travelers expect and what Phu Quoc actually is. That's when the real answer finally became clear. Here's the truth most people don't realize until it's too late. Phu Quoc doesn't feel disappointing because it's bad. It feels disappointing because it's marketed as something it isn't. Online, the island is sold like Thailand or Bali. Vibrant streets, endless nightlife, cheap food, and constant excitement. That image creates a very specific expectation, but Phu Quoc doesn't actually function that way. In reality, it behaves more like a quiet resort island. Slower, more spread out, designed for short stays, packaged experiences, and controlled environments. Not for spontaneous wandering or budget adventure. That gap is where the frustration lives. The trap isn't money, it's expectation. When travelers arrive expecting one kind of experience and get another, every price feels wrong, every empty space feels suspicious, and every inconvenience feels personal. Nothing illegal happened, no one broke the rules, but the promise didn't match the reality. That's why people don't leave angry. They leave confused and disappointed. People don't feel scammed, they feel misled. So is Phu Quoc actually worth visiting? So here's the honest verdict. Phu Quoc can be a beautiful destination, but only for the right kind of traveler. It works best for slow travelers who want to rest, resort lovers who value comfort, and quiet seekers looking for calm instead of constant stimulation. What it isn't built for is non-stop nightlife, backpacker-style budgeting, or spontaneous adventure on every corner. If that's what you're expecting, disappointment is almost guaranteed. That's the key difference. If you come for the wrong reason, you'll leave disappointed. If you come with the right expectations, the experience changes completely. Knowledge makes the difference. Knowing what this island actually offers and what it doesn't turns frustration into clarity. And that's why this conversation matters. This channel isn't about hype, and it's not about tearing places down. It's about honest travel stories, the kind that help you decide, not just dream. Phu Quoc isn't perfect, but it's also not the disaster some people make it out to be. Like many places growing fast, it's caught between what it wants to be and what people expect it to be. That's why sharing real experiences matters. If you've been to Phu Quoc, tell us how it felt for you. Did it meet your expectations, or did it surprise you in a different way? Your story might help someone plan their trip better. And if you value travel content without hype or hate, consider subscribing. Because sometimes paradise isn't ruined, it's just misunderstood.